Hello guys, and welcome back to my DaVinci Resolve masterclass. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add text to your videos in DaVinci Resolve. To begin, I've imported this clip onto my timeline over here. The first thing you want to do is to scroll up to the Effects tab over here, or you can select Media Pool and select Effects once more to see all your text over here. So the first thing you want to do is to come over to Toolbox. If you have this closed like this, you come over to Toolbox, you scroll down and select Titles, and you will see all these titles that we have in DaVinci Resolve. Now, if you hover over the titles, you can see how they animate. We have some still text and we have some animation text. For example, this text over here scrolls from top to bottom, and we have some callouts over here. So the first thing you need to do is to scroll through all the presets over here and select one text that you like. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to select a basic title or a text plus, and all you need to do is to hold it and drag it onto your timeline over here. And the next thing you need to do is to move it to the position where you want that text to begin to be revealed, or you drag it to the entire duration of your timeline, all left to you. Now, the next thing you need to do is to select your text over here and come over to Inspector over here to edit the text and select Videos and select Titles. Now, over here in Titles, you have the ability to change the text to say whatever you like. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to write Add Text. Now, if I scroll down over here, I can change the font type to whatever I like. As I continue to scroll down, you can see what this other text will look like when added to the video. But I'm going to leave this as it is without changing it because I'm okay with the normal text. You can also come over here under the font to change the style of the font. So I'm going to make this bold. You can make it extra bold. You can make it italic and all of that. I'm going to just leave it as, okay, let me select extra bold italic. You can increase the size of your text over here to make it big. Another thing you can do with any of these effects is that you can animate them. For example, if I hit Ctrl Z to return it to its normal size, I could move this playhead to the start of my clip where I want the text to begin to animate from, and come over here and toggle on this keyframe over here. What happens is that DaVinci Resolve will recognize this size at this interval, and then I could move my playhead to the point where I want this text to completely be bold, and what I will do is increase the size over here. Now, if I go back a bit and hit this and hit play from here, you will notice my text animating over here. So that's basically how to add some animations to your text. Now, if you come over to tracking and reduce tracking, what that does is that it affects the spacing between your text, and you could add some really nice text effects in your videos by making use of tracking. Next, if you come down over here, continue to come down, we have the write on effect over here. What this does is it gives you a typewriter text effect. For example, if I go to the beginning of my clip over here, or I move to a position like this, I could decide that I want at this position that none of the text is visible, and I toggle on this keyframe. Next, you could move your keyframe forward in time to where you want all the text to be seen and return this circle back to the right. Now, if I go back to the beginning and hit play, you can see that the text begins to pop up one after the other. I'm going to hit Ctrl Z to undo those keyframes. So it's back to being a simple zoom in and zoom out. We have some other settings. If we scroll up, we could move from the title over here to the settings, but we also have some other settings here under layout. If you select layout, we have a lot of settings that you could adjust. For example, if you could say that you want to add some background to your text, right now it is without a background, so you could just come over here and add some red background fills to your text. And what this does is it gives a kind of layer in between your text and your video over here. You could increase it and you could animate it, and you could select over here if you want some more custom colored background over here, but I'm just going to undo that. You can add some settings to rotation, but for the sake of now, I'm just going to move up to transform, and under transform you can adjust the spacing, the X and the Y value, the rotation. For example, if you're trying to rotate your text, but we'll do all of that under settings. You could come over here to shading, and if you want to add some other properties to your text, for example, to make your text turn into strokes, you could come over here and change the appearance to this stroke appearance over here, and you could increase the thickness over here. I'm going to hit Ctrl Z to undo that. And if you scroll down over here, you have some other settings over here. For example, you could change the joint style from any of these options, and what they do is that they affect the rounding of the text. So if I change this from solid to dash, you can see what this does. It makes it like lines. You could change it to dots, and you change your text to dots, and you can change it to dash and dots together, and you can change it to dash dot dot. So I'm just going to take this back to the normal solid. If you scroll up, I'm going to come back here and change my appearance back to the normal text fill. I'll come over to settings over here. Now under settings, you could adjust the rotation easily. For example, you want your text to rotate. All you need to do is to come over here and move to the position where you want your text to begin to rotate. And at that position, you come over here and you toggle on a keyframe. Then you move to the position where you want the rotation to end, and you can increase the value of rotation over here. Let's say we make it this way. Now, if I go back and hit play, when it gets to that point, our text rotates. I'm going to hit Ctrl Z to undo all of that. And that's it, guys, on how to add text to your videos in DaVinci Resolve.